dentist. I'm handling shit, I'm a menace, no dentist.
What's up? What's good? What's happening? Welcome back to the At the Buzzer podcast. I'm DC, and I'm here with
Colin.
2 weeks in a row, just Colin and I. But
Yes, sir.
let's talk about the league, bro. Well, before I get into that, how are we feeling about AR getting benched, bro? I just feel like they were handing him the keys.
Right.
I feel like after 10 games, benching him is not the right move.
No.
Like, I wasn't necessarily a fan of Bryce Young getting benched, but at least it was after a season and, 3 games?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the AR is too soon. I get it. He said he was tired, so he sat out of play. I get that. But when he just ran like 30 yards combined going back and forth trying not to get sacked,
Right.
I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, you'd want your starting quarterback, the leader of the team, to keep playing through tired, but I don't know. I get it. How do you feel?
I'm interested in the philosophy of a lot of these young teams to draft a quarterback, place the future of your franchise really in his hands, and then to go and bench them after 4 or 5 rough games. Where are you expecting the development to happen?
Right.
You know, if you're not getting experience, real life reps, I don't care how much time you've got in practice, individual work, nothing is going to simulate a game. You know, we know that by now. And so pulling the plug on young QBs just doesn't make a lot of sense. If you're going to throw them in the fire and let them stay there, let them cook. There's going to be rough moments. There's going to be interceptions. There's going to be turnovers, you know, misreads and coverage, all of that. But that is what you signed up for when drafting them. And so I'm not a fan. You've seen it with Fields. You've seen it with Young. You see the 49ers gave Trey Lance a ridiculously short leash.
Right.
I mean, how in the world was he supposed to develop in 3-4 games? You know, I do not get the philosophy around young quarterbacks right now.
Yeah. I'm on the side that's like, draft them and let them sit behind a vet.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how good or elite you want to say that vet is, if they've been in the league for a while, they know what it takes to win and lose.
Right.
And be a quarterback in the National Football League. Like, the elite QBs we see right now, Lamar, Patrick Mahomes, both of them sat behind seasoned vets who were elite at some point throughout their careers.
Exactly.
And now look at them. They're the 2 best quarterbacks in the league.
Right.
So I feel like you got to let your QBs develop before. Like, I understand the whole philosophy of throwing them in the fire because the best way to learn is to play. But at the same time, Tom Brady sat behind Drew Bledsoe for a while. And now he's the GOAT.
Right.
Arguably.
Yeah.
And that's for another day. But yeah, I feel like benching him in the middle of the season is kind of killing his confidence. That's not what you want to do with your young QB.
Right. I like that. And it's been a bit of a perspective change because I think we've had this conversation before. And when we first had it, I was really leaning towards the side of throw them right into the fire. You know, let them figure things out. And I think it's less of a right and wrong, but I'm seeing more and more the benefits of the approach you just talked about. You know, you look at Green Bay, Rodgers sat behind Favre a couple of years, and he came out ready to go, you know, ready to contend to be an elite QB from day one. Jordan Love sat behind Rodgers for a few years, and as soon as the moment popped up, he was basically ready to go.
Right.
And, you know, you just seeing a pro build habits and do things from another seat, you know, just seeing that and seeing their process, seeing what they're doing day in and day out, that's important. And, you know, you typically have always been the best guy on your team. You've known the most, you've done the most, you've been the leader. But to see someone else do that, set new habits for you, and show you what it's like to be elite on the highest level of a sport is very different. So I'm kind of with you on that. Even if the QB comes out like 5-star prospect, we think he's going to ball from day one.
Right.
What's the harm in sitting him for a little while, you know?
Yeah, I think this situation is kind of really showing how poorly run the Colts franchise is, in a sense.
Yeah.
Because the ownership is just really in the past few years, ever since I low-key want to go as far back to say ever since we let go of Manning, but I'll really say ever since Luck retired mid-game
Right.
or mid-preseason game. I think that's kind of really when the Colts ownership and GM front office, it's really kind of been selling. Like the whole JT fiasco last year, and then Gus Bradley openly coming out and saying he didn't draft or that he drafted perfectly fine in his eyes, and
Right.
he really didn't the past few years. And then for it to come out that Michael Pittman, your wide receiver one, didn't even know about the QB change until he got on social media.
Right.
I just think it's really showing how poorly run this franchise is, and I think Shane Steichen needs a closer look because I feel like some of this has to be on him. The play calling against Houston was very questionable,
Yeah.
and the receivers really just were not helping Anthony Richardson out there at all. Like, granted, some of the balls weren't very catchable,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you're a receiver. This is kind of your job
Exactly,
to
right.
make
Yeah. Right.
tough catches. So I think it's not just on Anthony Richardson. I think the whole organization needs to take a look at itself.
Yeah. And I mean, you're sitting also at 4-4. You're not in the worst place moving forward.
Right.
I don't see the need to be radical with anything. And here's my thing, okay. If this is the result at 4-4, you got to expect he's probably going to get more comfortable. You're still developing chemistry. You're getting things figured out. And he doesn't have a lot. That is the problem. He doesn't have a lot of football experience.
Right.
Give him football experience. Giving it to Joe Flacco, you're not building towards the future. Joe's going to be gone. You know, it's not going to be someone that you can build your franchise around moving forward. Joe's, a solid guy. He's come in and helped a lot of people, had a great prime. But you've got winnable games coming up. You've got the Bills. You got the Jets. The Lions is a tough one. You got the Patriots. You got the Broncos. You have a lot of winnable games. Let him sit in there and, like you said, let him build confidence. I think that's the best move for them, But like you said, it's a poorly run organization. So what can you expect?
Before we talk about the NBA, shout out my boy Freddie Freeman, man. What is it, 6, 7 straight World Series games with the home run?
That's crazy.
It's insane. At the time of recording this, the Dodgers are up 3-1, but the Yankees are leading in Game 5 right now. So we'll see what happens. By the time this comes out, there might be a Game 6 that night, and then a Game 7 the next day. So we'll see. But let's get to the association, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How are we feeling 1 week in? Like, I'll start.
Okay.
Here's a couple people that have been kind of standing out to me this season. Grady Dick, he's been balling in the 3 games I think they've played.
Yeah.
Against Minnesota the other night, he hooped.
Yeah.
He had like 20-something, shot pretty well from the field.
Right.
And right now against Charlotte, he already has 23 in the third quarter, shooting pretty well. So look out for him to make that. I don't think he'll be most improved, but he'll have a good year.
Yeah.
Definitely will have a good year. LaMelo Ball, bro.
Ooh.
His past 3 games, 27, 34, and 34. He already has an all-star under his belt, I think. I think he was an injured reserve a couple years ago.
I think so.
But I think he's going to get back to there.
Yeah.
Because he's really starting to hoop like he's at Chino Hills again. And it's crazy to say that, like, that play style from Chino Hills has translated to the NBA.
Yep.
And it's also just kind of showing my age. Because I watched this dude while we were both in high school. And now he's hooping in the league. But besides the point. That duel him and Trae Young had the other night, that was special to watch. That, like, because he's doing step back, one leg threes, side step, one leg threes like he used to do in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, man, it's special. I love watching LaMelo Ball play. But you know who I'm really excited to watch this year. Even though it was against the Pacers, bro just put up 50 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists.
Dude.
Shout out Paolo Banchero, bro.
Oh, my goodness.
Probably the most disrespected number one pick that we've seen in a long time. And when I say that, obviously I'm not talking about the busts or the ones who weren't that good. This dude was an all-star in his second year and led the Magic to the playoffs and not the play-in.
Right.
5 seed in the playoffs. Like, people can say all they want about how the East isn't that strong or whatever, but who cares? He 5th in the East. And it was only his second year. So this year, hooping. He's all-star starter. I'm not going to lie.
We literally just put a post out about this today. I don't know what else you all want from this guy. 37 points in a half.
It's crazy.
50 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists. This guy, like, you are watching a well-rounded player become a superstar right in front of you. There's nothing he can't do at an elite level on the basketball court. I am so impressed day in and day out. You see shades of Bron with the passing, the playmaking. You see shades of Melo with, like, the fluidity, his post bag, his face-up game. Dude can run pick and roll as a guard. Like,
yeah.
I don't think people understand how impressive he is. There are no holes in his game. And he's doing this on a team that doesn't shoot the ball well. He doesn't have a ton of space to work with. So as they continue to get better, and I mean, they just hit league average in terms of threes, he is going to be unstoppable. He already is.
Yeah.
I don't like you. There are certain people you run out of compliments. You run out of adjectives to describe, and he's one of those type of guys.
First 50 burger of the season, man.
Yep.
And it's like you said, really since he was at Duke, I'm like, this dude is literally LeBron and Melo mixed.
Right.
But now he's really, don't get me wrong, he had the confidence.
Right.
But now he's really realizing, like, okay, these league dudes can't guard me.
No.
Let me cook. Like, and he's a 3-level scorer, though.
Yes.
Not just, like, I know he's a big man, but it's not like he's just posting up. He'll bring the ball up the court or come get it on the wing and ISO. Exactly. Shoot a step-back 3 or a pull-up, and that his mid-range is
silly.
That's money.
It's silly.
His mid-range is money. So I really hope he starts getting that recognition he deserves.
Yeah.
Because bro's nice.
Dude, I can't wait to see him versus an upper echelon team in the East. I can't wait to watch. I just want to see him and Tatum go back and forth. Look, we've been getting a little advanced with the takes the past couple of weeks. If it came down to it, everything on the table, I'm gonna put my money on him. If he's going head to head with Tatum, and the game's on the line, and they're dueling back and forth, I'm gonna go Paolo.
Yeah, I probably would too.
I know a lot of people not gonna want to hear that, and I get it. But he is that skilled, and he is a competitor. People don't factor that in as well. You remember the time at Duke. You're an avid college basketball watcher. First matchup with Chet, he was guarding Chet, and he wasn't the center. You know, he was like, I'm going to take that matchup head on. Every time Chet picked him up in the half court, he was going right at him. That was the number one player in the country. I just respect that mentality so much. He's not backing down from anyone, and now he's got a taste of playoff loss. He knows what it's like to be in the postseason, knows what it's like to lose. Y'all better be very afraid, bro.
No, for real. Yeah, I think him and Cade.
Yes.
Cade Cunningham is also I don't know if I want to throw him in that disrespected number one pick, but just not talked about enough. Like, I think we talked about it last week. Like, I get it. He's on the Pistons, but even on the Pistons, he's putting up 30 points, averaging like 24, 25, shooting very efficiently, and averaging like 7, 8, 9 assists. Like, he's still hooping. So Here's a question that just came to mind. Is 2019 to 2023 the best stretch of number one picks? Because you went Zion 2019.
Oh, my goodness.
Ant 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Cade 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Paolo 2022.
Sheesh.
And then Wemby 23.
Sheesh.
Is that not a special run right there?
I'd be inclined to agree.
Because, I mean, the 3 years before it was Ayton,
Yeah.
Fultz, and Ben Simmons.
Yeah. You know, it's a little rough. It's a little rough. If Zion gets it together, I would not even get it together hoop wise in his activity, but get it together health wise. I think you could confidently make that claim. You've got really 4 transcendent talents. You know, maybe I might take Cade out of transcendent, but you've got 3 guys for sure that are bona fide superstars when healthy. And then you've got Cade, who is, I'd say, right at that level skill-wise. He's 26, 7-5 right now. I mean, I get Detroit's 0-4, but, dude, he's, like you say, he's playing great basketball.
Right.
So I'm not going to argue with you on that at all.
It's crazy. I just did some more scrolling, and 2008 to 2012 is pretty special, too. D-Rose 08.
Yep.
Blake Griffin 09.
Mm-hmm.
John Wall 2010.
Yep.
Kyrie 2011. And then AD 2012. It's pretty special, too.
It is, but I'm going with this group.
I might,
I'm
too.
going with this
I
group.
probably would, too. Because, yeah, man, that's a special run right there, bro.
It is.
Because Zion, when Zion is playing a full, healthy season,
He's a game
he's a
wrecker.
problem.
He's a game wrecker.
Like, because you can't really game plan against
You
him.
can't.
It doesn't matter who you put in front of him. He's probably still going to bully him.
Yeah.
And then he can shoot, too.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. That's special. And then you already know about my GOAT, Anthony Edwards. And we just talked about Cade, and we just talked about Pelo.
Right.
And that boy Wemby, man. League is in danger.
Yep. Yep.
He just put up, who do they play? The Rockets?
Yeah, they just played the Rockets.
He's shooting logo threes.
Yep.
He's Kevin Durant hezzy pulling from deep. And he's 7'4".
Yep.
That's so scary to see.
The thing is, defensively, he completely shuts the paint down by himself. You know, he's a game plan unto himself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't got to do a whole lot of special strategizing when you have him on a basketball court. And so it's just really, they got to put competent offensive pieces around him that don't force him to have to score everything. And I think they'll be in fantastic position, dude. I mean, Wemby's defensively a marvel. And like you said, what big is even able to guard out at half, and he's shooting step backs on top of that?
Come on. How do you even contest that?
You don't. You
Like,
don't.
you just got to hope he miss.
Sengun, I love Sengun, but Sengun's got no business dealing with that.
No.
I'd say outside of maybe Bam and maybe AD, I don't trust.
Those are the two.
I'll throw in Claxton as well. I think I
Okay,
respect
okay.
Claxton a lot defensively. I don't think of many guys I would ever want checking him out beyond the 3-point line.
Like, I could see Miles Turner maybe being able to, but
Mm-hmm.
even then. And, like, you want to say Kevin Durant, but somehow even he's too short to guard that.
Yeah, he is.
Like, it wouldn't be so scary to watch. And don't get me wrong, Chet is that same archetype, but he's just not the same. Chet nice, though.
Let's dive into that real quick. He has been hooping to
Chet
start
nice, though.
this year.
Hey.
I'm worried because my big thought process was OKC has to. They've either got to find or develop someone into being that next star scorer, and it was like, okay, it looks like it's going to be J-Dub, and I still think it's going to be J-Dub. But Chet, if Chet is your third option, what he's been doing to start this year, specifically that game against Denver,
Yeah. Nah, the Thunder's scary, bro.
league should very much be. He's averaging 26.
Because that's 3 high-level scorers.
Right.
Plus Lou Dort,
Right.
plus Alex Caruso, plus Isaiah Hartenstein.
Mm-hmm.
That's a special roster. Then you got the other Jalen Williams that coming off the bench, too. He's
Right.
very solid basketball player. Plus
Absolutely.
Isaiah Joe and Kason Wallace.
Right.
And they still are going to get a lottery pick next season.
Yep. It's
And we have the Clippers to thank for all of this.
Mhm.
They literally gave up their entire team,
Yeah.
their entire future to the Thunder
And I think
for a player who's not even there anymore.
that's just, very Clipper-esque. Like, that's what they do as an organization. But you look at this setup, it's very reasonable to see, I think, Lou Dort not being around for this entirety of this build as hopefully a dynasty, what they're putting together. If you go swap out Dort and you get a sizable 3 or 4, I don't know how you deal with this team. If you and it depends really, because you got so much versatility. Once Hartenstein comes back, it's very logistical to put Chet at the 4. But you could go out and get a guy, build wise like a Jabari Smith, but a well-rounded skill set, and still get the type of defensive impact you have with Dort. But now you have it in a much bigger frame, and it gives you a lot more defensive versatility. And so I'd be interested to see what they do with that pick, because they don't really have any needs. Mm-hmm. You've already got Topic. People forget about him. Yeah. He's still recovering. Dude can hoop. That is another, offensive engine you're adding to this team. And so I'm very interested to see what they do, because they don't have a lot of needs.
Right. And then, we have to talk about Mark Daigneault, too.
Yeah.
Great coach.
Special.
I mean, obviously, he's won Coach of the Year.
Right.
Even though I get it. I might have given it to Chris Finch instead.
I get it, yeah.
But Mark Daigneault, he earned it. I mean, he was number 1 seed. After, what were they playing last year? No, they missed it playing last year. They were 11 or 13.
Yeah, they missed it because they lost to the Pelicans.
Yeah, the Thunder, that's a scary sight to see. But I wanted to talk about, how do you feel about, PG's hurt, yes, but how do you feel about Embiid? Because he's still not playing because of the knee management thing.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Sixers were just fined $100,000 for that because of how they're handling that.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like these are your 2 star players. One of them is literally he's the franchise.
Right.
Why are we not playing? Don't get me wrong, I get it. Paul George is hurt, but we've been saying that about PG for the last 5 years.
Right.
Do we think I can't even talk. Does Philly really have a chance at contention? Because I feel like if your 2 stars aren't playing for most of the season, how does that build chemistry and how does that get everybody on the same page come playoff time? Because Tyrese Maxey, he's your consistent star.
Mm-hmm.
But he's kind of been struggling shooting-wise.
Yeah.
He's still scoring, but he's putting up a lot of shots to get those points.
Yeah.
So I feel like I don't – their contention is kind of fraud watch to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. There's a lot I want to talk about when it comes to Philly. But sticking on your point, I'm going to still give them the nod for contention.
I don't even mean to cut you off, but right now they're down 20 to Detroit.
Oh, man.
But, yeah, go ahead.
Whoo, that's rough. Okay. And Detroit is 0-4. That's not good. But maybe I should change my answer. I was going to give them the nod because I think Maxey's play will get a lot better when you put 2 high-level talents around him. He's now going to be facing insane defensive coverages because you could care less if anybody else on that current roster gets clean looks. You want them to try to beat you. But having Kelly Oubre be your second option in 2024 isn't really viable. And you've got to get PG back on the court just for spacing purposes, creation purposes. Embiid's obviously the engine, and the defense is going to get better with him. It seems like he lost a lot of weight. He looks to be in really good shape. But to kind of branch off into another point, I think I saw an interview a while ago. It was KD. He was talking with Stan Van Gundy about how he thinks the league never should have deviated from guys playing full 82, hard practices, all that type of stuff. And don't get me wrong, I agree with the approach of working smarter, not harder. But I do believe there's a degree of mental toughness, physical toughness built up, resistance built up when you continue to play and practice on a consistent basis. You know, I think we've stripped things down so much and we see guys getting hurt so much. All the guys that are on these hardcore injury management systems are always injured. It's not helping. Kawhi's been doing this injury management system for like 5 years now, and he's never healthy. Embiid has been missing back-to-backs chunks of time, and he is never healthy. You look at LeBron. LeBron kind of is the standard for consistency. LeBron plays whenever he's healthy. Most of these top guys play whenever they're healthy, and I think there's something to that. I don't know all the science behind it, but you just compare the approaches, and a lot of these guys that stay hurt are always, you know, sitting out this, sitting out that, and I don't think that's the way to go. I think it's really hurting people and the game as a whole, because you want to see the best players play. You know,
Right.
Why see a team like Philly come together and we got to watch them collapse in the playoffs and see Tyrese Maxey play Boston 1-on-3? Like, I'm not
Yeah.
trying to watch that.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely with you. How you feel about Jordan Poole, man? I've always been a J. Poole fan.
Yeah.
I really feel like the Warriors dropped the ball
Heavy.
when they picked Draymond over Jordan Poole.
Yep.
Because why can somebody who's supposed to be your leader, your vet, why is he allowed to just walk up and steal one of your young stars, and then he stays on the team? I just don't get it.
I gotta like
Especially because Draymond is cheeks now.
Right.
But Jordan Poole was, obviously it was Steph. Like, he was the Finals MVP for a reason, but
Mhm.
Jordan Poole played the second best of that whole series.
Great.
He was a big part of them winning. What was it? Game 3,
Mhm.
I think.
Yeah.
And Game 5, like, last year was pretty hard to watch the Wizards,
It was.
but I feel like we had just talked about this. I feel like it was part of the growing pains
Mm-hmm.
because this was his first year being handed the keys to an offense,
Right.
especially with the team he had around him. It's hard for him to really do something with that,
Exactly.
especially after having just come from playing with the best point guard ever,
Right.
two of the best shooters ever,
Mm-hmm.
to now he's playing with Kyle Kuzma.
Right.
But he's been balling so far this year.
Man, y'all owe Jordan Poole an apology. Speaking of, we just put a post out about that as well. It's sports in general. We were just talking about with quarterbacks. There is no patience anymore. And I think we miss out on a lot of great things because no one can sit and let something cook. Of course, there's going to be growing pains. It's going to happen. He is in Washington. That's not a great ran organization. They don't have a lot of talent. He's a young guy. You handed him the keys to the offense. All right, cool. Take a step back. You see what he's doing this year. He's scoring it very efficiently. Been playing more effort on the defensive end, playmaking, not turning the ball over. And it's going to take people a lot longer to give him the respect for that than it would take last year for them to crap on him for having a rough season. 22 points, 5 assists right now, 51% from the field. He's shooting 60% from 3. That's going to regress a little bit. It's going to come back down to the median. But, dude, he is playing fantastic basketball. And whether it is here in Washington or some contending team finds space to bring him on as an elite scorer, as a playmaker, an offensive engine, he's a valuable player. And I really think, it just says a lot about our media and fans that we're ready to cast a player aside for a rough season. Like,
Right.
my goodness, I don't know what you expected him to do in Washington. But he's hooping, man. And I'm like, that makes me very happy.
Yeah.
It makes me very happy. And if I can, I got to touch on the Draymond thing. the Warriors cape for Draymond way too much. Way too much. And this isn't me disrespecting Draymond or hating on Draymond as a person. He's put together a fantastic career. But like you said, to go and punch one of your young stars, someone that you claim to take under your wing, like that's supposed to be little bro in a sense. And you knocked him out in front of the entire team. And then you go out and do what you did the rest of last year, hitting everyone in sight, putting people in chokeholds, knocked out Yusuf Nurkic.
Come on.
And they kept Draymond over that? You know, JP, and he knew the system. He fit in. I don't get why you wouldn't hold on to that and do something with that. But
yeah, he could have been like he was the next Splash Brother.
Right.
But by now, he would have already been solidified as a Splash Brother. Especially,
exactly.
I'm not too sure them keeping Clay or getting rid of Clay, anything that would have changed, but who knows? Like, Jordan Poole is really your next Splash Brother. That's why I think the Warriors franchise has done, like, some of the best work at a front office has probably ever done, because their roster was really homegrown.
Yeah.
And it was a dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
But them picking Draymond over Jordan Poole was probably
Massive
their biggest mistake.
Yeah. And I get loyalty, but you got to look out for your future, man.
Have to.
You know, you got a talent like this guy. Like you said, he was a big reason why they made the playoffs the previous 2 years. Steph went down January, February, both of those years, and he put up about 26 a game, kept them alive. And you got to notice talent when you have it. And now they're not going to have that. And I'm not saying the future looks bleak, but you don't have a clear number one option after Steph. So
I got to talk about the Pacers, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Right now they're 1-3. By the time this comes out, that record will obviously change. They're playing Boston right now. They've been in the lead comfortably for the most part of the game, but you never know because we saw what happened in Game 3 of the ECF. Pacers were up. Really, the whole series.
Right.
The Pacers were up for most of it, and then in the fourth, the Celtics just make all the right plays, get all the right bounces, get all that, and then they win. Right. So we'll see what happens. But I think people that are so quick to call them frauds from last year or saying, like, this is what happens when they play a healthy team when they got massacred by the Knicks.
Right.
It's too soon. It's an 82-game season.
Exactly, bro.
You got to let them get back into that flow because they still are one of the best offenses ever.
Right.
The entirety of the team from the second half of the season is back.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, Benedict Mathurin isn't hurt.
Yeah.
And
that matters.
Right now, he hooping.
Yep.
He's leading the team in points right now in this game against Boston. But the Magic game really showed that there's some holes in Rick Carlisle's coaching.
Yeah.
Because his adjustments and his rotations have just been very questionable. Like, why is Benedict Mathurin only playing 14 minutes?
Right. That's a problem.
Like, I understand your whole he's a liability on defense philosophy or his rebounding or whatever. I get that. But his offensive production is way too good to keep him on the bench. Like, I feel like it's okay to keep Andrew Nembhard in that starting spot because there needs to be defensive guards next to Tyrese because Tyrese doesn't play defense. And if Benedict isn't playing defense either, the opposing guards are going to score 30 points.
Yeah.
So let Andrew Nembhard stay out there and be the the primary guard defender. Let Nesmith be the main other guard or forward defender, depending on the team, obviously. And keep Benedict coming off the bench. I feel like if you give Nembhard and Mathurin the same amount of minutes, let Nembhard be the defense and assist guy, and then Mathurin come in and spark. Right. He's averaging 20 points a game.
Right, yeah.
Off the bench. So I feel like Carlisle needs to figure that out and just Kyle, another Daily News reporter, like he brought this up. He was like, Carlisle kind of, once he has a decision about a player, he sticks with it and doesn't change. And I feel like that's pretty true. But we'll see. I also feel like Jarris Walker needs to play more because his minutes against the Knicks, I would say during garbage time, but it really wasn't because the whole Knicks starting lineup was still out there even when they were up 30.
Right.
But by then the Pacers bench was cleared, and they were all out there, and Jarris was playing really good minutes. So I'm not too worried about the Pacers right now.
I'm excited for him. Like you said, people got to realize regular season basketball is just that. You know, it's all preparation for the time of the year that matters most. Ironically, last year, Phoenix beat Minnesota all 4 games, and Ant averaged 13 a game, and then they got swept and decimated in the first round. So don't base these games and think, oh, this is what's going to happen in the postseason, unless you have legitimate reasoning for that. But as far as it goes with Carlisle, I do think it's interesting him calling out Mathurin as a defender because it does boil down. I don't think Carlisle's ever been a great defensive coach.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was able to win that title because they were able to get in kind of a generational defender at the time in Tyson Chandler to help out Dirk on the back line. So a lot of their defensive struggles boil down to his coaching. I don't think he does a great job protecting Halliburton. He doesn't throw enough schemes. They have a flexible personnel that they could run in the front court that gives you options, and he doesn't explore that much. So using that as a reason to keep Mathurin on the bench when he provides such great offensive production isn't sound logic to me. So I think that's interesting. And, I mean, you got to remember I still hold a bit of a gripe against him because I feel like he's messed up Dennis Smith Jr.'s career.
Yeah.
You know, you had Luka come in. Before that, Dennis Smith didn't win Rookie of the Year, but, man, he had a great year, and he was, like, top 3 in that conversation. He was averaging 15 and 7, playing great basketball, and then he just kind of handed the keys to Luka and forgot about DSJ. And you look at how the rest of his career has turned out. He's turned himself into a solid rotational guy, but there was so much talent there that never got tapped into.
Yeah.
So like you said, having a coach that's not willing to change and be open-minded about a guy, a situation, that can be a problem. And I don't know if Carlisle is the long-term answer at head coach for the Pacers. I think he's a great coach, and he's done a lot to push him forward, but I do think you can do better, in all honesty.
Ooh. You see, a lot of Pacers fans would agree with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them, like especially in the playoffs,
Right.
really were very disappointed with Carlisle.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, his offensive coaching schemes are like, I mean, they were one of the best offenses ever last season.
Exactly.
Not just of the league, like ever. Which is crazy because the Celtics were too.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 high-powered offenses. Like, that's why when people were saying the ECF was going to be a snooze, y'all didn't watch ball.
About? Right. What are you talking about?
Y'all obviously didn't watch any of the regular season. But that's besides the point. I feel like, yeah, Carlisle's defensive mind is, it's kind of scary.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of feel like his offensive schemes take weight in that.
Yeah.
But we'll see if he's the best long-term option. Another team I wanted to talk about again. Oh, actually, before I get into that, you bringing up Dennis Smith. That's his situation is the perfect example of situational talent or draft picks or just situations mattering.
Right.
Because you could also throw in Sharif Cooper into that.
Heavy.
Because both of them had potential to get in the league and do great things.
Mm-hmm.
But Sharif Cooper went to the Hawks when they already had Trey.
Right.
Which didn't make any sense to me.
At all.
And then Dennis Smith, unfortunately, Luka came right after him. And Brunson, too.
Right.
Because I was very high on Dennis Smith coming out of NC State.
I was.
He could have been, I'm not necessarily going to say like Ant, that type of level, but he could have went somewhere and kind of had that production.
Right.
So it's kind of, I'm happy he's managed to keep himself in the league and be a like you said, an important rotational piece, but He could have been All-Star.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your guy, Cam Thomas, man. He kind of been hooping.
Man.
Right on.
Look, shout out to Cam Thomas. He's been exceptional, putting the ball in the bucket. You know, obviously we talked in our last couple podcasts. We want to see him do more on the defensive end as a playmaker. But when it comes to putting a basketball in a bucket, there are few, I think, that do it more ethically and better than he does. It's amazing to watch.
Looking at these 3-point numbers, though.
Let's see.
Last 2 games, 25%, 12.5%.
Ooh, that is nasty. Yeah, that's nasty.
Hey, but 26, 32, 24, 36, that's
right.
special.
I mean, he's averaging 29. Their roster is just weird. You know, Ben, I don't know what to do with him or, you know, what they should do with him. I think that's just an odd situation. But the rest of the roster, I don't think he has a ton to work with. Dennis Schroeder's played some decent basketball. I think he's a good lead guard. Much better defender than Cam is, so you got to have those two out there together. Cam Johnson, I think he's a piece that they don't need. You ship him to a contender, he can shoot the ball, defend, sizable wing. Same for DFS. Same for Claxton. They have a bunch of guys that I just don't think fit their situation. Besides Cam Thomas, I kind of like this year just experimenting, throwing him the ball, letting him do whatever. 29, 44% from the field, not the greatest, but not the worst. 38% from three, above league average. I like it. 2.8 assists. You know, we could definitely do a bit better than that. You know, want to see him spread the ball around a little bit. But hopefully with time as a lead guard, as being the feature guy in an offense, those reads will become a little bit easier. And with some extra talent around him, that would be a big help as well. So shout out to Cam, man. Love seeing him hoop, bro.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I love his offensive production.
Mm-hmm.
Boy can put that ball in the cup.
Dude.
But I'm not seeing the lead guy out of him, man.
I get it.
I'm seeing him second option.
Mm-hmm.
Or even being the lead scorer, but still not the guy for a team. Like
I get that.
Behind somebody.
Right.
I don't see him leading the Nets to the playoffs.
You know, I think a good comparison to that, I think he could be the Chris Middleton to a Giannis.
Okay.
You know,
that's what I'm saying.
And,
I can see that.
When you put it that way, yes, I'm gonna agree with you. You know, I don't really like to back down that point because I believe in Cam, but I see the logic in it. You know, I could see them getting a guy like, I think Cooper Flag could be that type of guy that is the face of your franchise.
Scary.
He's gonna carry defensively. He's gonna be great. And then at the end of the game, though, it's like Giannis wasn't closing them playoff games. They didn't put the ball in Giannis's hands in the half court. If it got to him, it did. But game on the line, you're hunting Chris Middleton down, and he's going to get that look for you. So I think Cam Thomas can be that type of guy. Yeah, it's really up to Brooklyn not to squander that, which I don't trust in them at all. You know, they continually make bad decisions. So really, until what's his name? What's their owner's name? Josiah,
I think, yeah.
He's got to sell the team. The team.
I hate him as an owner.
He is. That's slanderous. That's disrespectful. I don't like the way he performs in his role. And yeah, I think they should move on from him. Sean Marks as well will need to move on from him. It's time to start a new era of basketball. They somehow messed up KD, Kyrie, Harden. They sold the whole team to Boston.
My God.
So many mistakes.
Like, we have them to thank for the Celtics team.
Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, if I was in Brooklyn, I would start a petition. I would be in front of the Barclays Center nightly with signs until
you know they don't like Josiah, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because of how he handled the whole Kyrie situation.
Right. Which, there's a lot of thoughts about that as well.
Yeah, that one, that's still pretty polarizing even, 2 years later?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of deep-rooted issues in the way he handled that, but I guess I will reserve my thoughts on that. But I don't think I don't really like the way he handles business or he deals with people. I think it's time to move on.
Mhm.
It's time to get something new in Brooklyn.
So let's talk about the. Honestly, I do want to say it was the biggest trade of the offseason, and it just happened like a month ago.
Right.
But first, I want to go on the Knicks side. How do you think they're looking without Hartenstein, without DiVincenzo,
Yeah.
but with Bridges and Towns?
So they're 1-2 right now. I haven't seen all of their games, seen a couple.
Because I'm not going to lie to you. Cat's been hooping, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He has 30 right now as we're recording.
Yeah.
And he put up 21 on the Pacers with 15 boards to go with it.
Yeah. I'm interested. I think my only issue is I've never been a big fan of Thibodeau on the offensive end. I think he lacks creativity, and he's been a bit behind the 8 ball for the past couple of years. And I'm not a big fan of the approach of having a defensive-minded coach for an offensive-minded team.
Yeah.
Mikal has taken a couple of steps back on the defensive end from where he was in Phoenix. And so when you've got a lineup where you're not all the way sure if Mikal's locked in defensively, you've got 2 liabilities in Brunson and Towns, that leaves Hart and Anunoby or whoever else is in the rotation as the strong defenders. And you're trying to counterbalance that with a great offense, but you don't have a guy that is, I think, able to mesh that properly. So you've seen it affect really both Brunson and Towns. Towns is only averaging 15 a game.
Yeah.
And of course that's going to improve. We're 3 games into the season. Brunson's down to 23 from I think 27 last year. So
29.
So I think it's going to take a while to get this duo figured out, but there is so much potential with it.
Yeah.
The pick and roll between them is such a problem. Any action getting Cat in the post and playing off of that is also a problem. But it is up to Thibodeau, and he's going to need to be the one to marry those two and make this offense seamless.
It's early in the season, but
Yeah.
I renege what I said about Julius Randle. Because I ain't going to lie. Ever since that first game, games 2, 3, and 4, bro, they've looked pretty good offensively and defensively.
Yeah.
They're finally getting DiVincenzo comfortable in the offense. He's getting good looks. Naz Reid hooping per usual and doing Ant things. But Julius Randle, now he did leave the game either yesterday or the other day with an injury. So I hope that's not, too serious because, you never want to see anybody hurt.
Never.
But I'm not going to lie. They had 30 together. They had 20 together. I think it might be the team coming out the West. I know I said that last week anyways, but now that I'm seeing, again, it's early, but now that I'm seeing Ant and Randall actually working together and it being successful, I feel good about it.
Yeah.
I kind of renege what I said about the trade.
I am a little concerned. It seems like their rotation is really tight. 9 guys, and the bulk of that, really the 9th guy is Ingles, and he's only playing about 5 minutes a game. So you've got 8 key rotational pieces. You've got Ant playing just about 40 a game, and Gobert and Randall playing 35 apiece. And so I just really hope that nobody gets worn into the ground. Seeing Ant, we're 36-3. Yeah, I like that. I really hope he's in the conversation for MVP this year. Shooting 41% from 3. You love to see that. That's what people question coming out of college.
Yeah.
He does that now. Pretty efficient from the field. I think the dynamic with Julius is interesting. If you put the ball in his hands at the post, you're going to attract doubles. And so now it's up to Finch to incorporate an offense to where it works with some big-to-big passing between him and Gobert. Ant's comfortable with playing off the ball. You have some actions to capitalize on the help being brought to Randall in the mid-post, but it is also up to Randall to continue to take good shots, which it looks like he's doing. It's better. It's improved. He's shooting 60% from the field, really efficient hoops. And so, yeah, you're right. It's time to admit when you're wrong on something, and I didn't believe in this, but it seems to be working a bit better than I thought. So credit to Randall, credit to Finch, and I like this squad. I think they could make some noise in the West.
Oh, I'm so happy NBA's back, man. Like, I really don't think y'all are truly understanding how much Colin and I love basketball.
Y'all don't. I'm
Like,
telling you don't.
We are students of the game.
Absolutely.
It's literally my career
Right.
to cover basketball. But, yeah, I'm so happy we're back. UFC 308 was this past weekend. Oh, also, before I let you get into that, bro, shout out Ball State football.
Yup.
Got the homecoming W over rivalry Northern Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Kept the Bronze Stalk Trophy here in Muncie after a walk-off field goal.
Yep.
So, shout out the boys. Also, shout out Ball State for 100th something homecoming over the weekend.
Yeah. Shout out Coach G, man.
Shout
Getting
out
them
Coach
boys
G
right.
money,
Shout out
bro.
Coach G, man. Love that guy.
But yeah, let's talk about your boy Max, man. What happened?
Saturday was a rough day. Got up with the expectation of seeing Max Holloway go out there and reclaim the featherweight crown, but Ilia Topuria is a dog. He's a different type of guy, and I think I felt like I knew all along Max was gonna get knocked out, but it's different to see that. That I don't think people can comprehend yet how impressive of a win that is. Max has been hit by guys like Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, some of the Jose Aldo, Conor McGregor in his prime. He has been hit by some of the biggest hitters 45 and 55 have ever seen in the sport. And to take that, be knocked down just once, maybe twice if you count the Poirier fight, for Topuria to walk him down and knock him out is insane. Credit to Max. Most people aren't going to talk about the fight itself. You're just going to talk about the result, and I get that. But I thought Max was fighting a beautiful fight through 2 rounds. His jab was looking great. He had the distance and timing. He was starting to get some combinations off. You can see he was landing and with effect to Topuria, tagged him a couple of times. But with Topuria, I think he put the MMA world on notice. He is going to be champ at 45 for a while, and he's talked the talk, but he's walked the walk. He is the face of the new generation of MMA. And I think it's very interesting when you break down his style. He's eliminated a lot of the kicking, a lot of the Muay Thai stuff. He's strictly a boxer when it comes to the feet. You throw in the calf kicks and the leg kicks, but he's a boxer. He can wrestle, shot in, took Max Holloway down. We haven't seen that a lot. Max is typically able to push a guy up, work his way off the fence, off the cage, but he shot in and slammed Max. Max was able to get back to his feet, but it just shows the type of athlete he is. His hands are phenomenal. I think they really are boxer level, and his setups are great. His distance management is great. A1 defense, knows how to roll from his high guard to the Philly shell. All of the technical stuff is there, and then the power, it's just so different. He landed that left hook, and he had just switched stance. So to do that, get your base, land a left hook to put Max Holloway out is so impressive. So I'm still salty, but I recognize the greatness in Topuria. I think he is a monster, and he's going to have that division on lock for a while. But as it goes for Max Holloway, thought he was fighting a beautiful fight. I think he should take a solid amount of time off, get his health together, get his head together, and then it's time to move up to 155. There's a lot of exciting fights up there. You got guys like Fiziev, Poirier still on the docket, Gaethje is still around, Jalen Turner. Michael Chandler, a rematch with Conor McGregor. You got a lot of guys floating there at 155 that would give him some great fights. He's still got the BMF belt, ranked number 5 at lightweight. So he's got options, and that was the great thing about knocking Justin Gaethje out. So shout out to my GOAT, man. I still love you. I'm still, what did James say? I'm going to stand by him. I'm going to support him. That's my guy. And so tough seeing that, but I know he'll build back. Blessed Express, that's the GOAT. So tough day, but we believe in you, Max.
So, Crown Jewel is Saturday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm going to run through the card, and let's talk about, we don't really have to talk about each match, but we can give our predictions. So, the Crown Jewel Championship. WWE champ Cody Rhodes versus World Heavyweight champ Gunther.
Yep.
Who's walking away with that second belt?
Ooh, that's a banger of a matchup, but I think business-wise, you got to give that to Cody. You know, you've spent so much time investing in him as the face of the company. Excuse me. I think he's a bit more of a marketable guy than Gunther is, and you want to continue to build around Cody for as long as possible. So I think you give that to Cody, but I do think it's going to be a phenomenal match. Watching those two work back and forth, Cody dealing with Gunther, a physical force, and I think that's always when Cody looks the best in the ring, when he's up against a physically imposing guy that presents him a heavy task. Watching him be the underdog, the chaser, I think it's going to be an excellent match, but I'm going to go with Cody.
Women's World Heavyweight Champion Liv Morgan versus Women's WWE Champion Nia Jax. Who you taking in that one? You know I'm going to go with. Oh, I didn't even give mine.
Yeah.
I think they give it to Gunther, man.
Okay.
I think they give it to Gunther. Now, I want to say there might be an interference or something, but then again, people that would interfere have matches later.
Right.
Or in the same night. So I don't know about that, but I kind of can see Gunther winning that.
Okay. I like that.
But, you know, I got to go with my wife.
Hey,
shout out Liv Morgan.
Ain't your wife. Yeah, I don't know about that one, big dog. But as far as that match goes, I'm gonna go with Liv.
That is my wife. Calm down.
Ass cap. But I'm gonna go with Liv. I think you got more juice still in her as a champion. I don't think people are fully behind Nia Jax, and it might take a while for them to feel that way about her. So I'm gonna go Liv. I'm not expecting a whole lot of that as a match. Maybe a cash in. I think that would be a good time for it. And hopefully Tiffy does it on Nia Jax. I think that would be better. So I think that's the way to skate that, but I'm not the most excited for that one.
Yeah, me neither, to be honest. This one is another one that I'm not too high on. The Bloodline Civil War.
Yeah.
I think we're getting it way too early.
Way too early.
I think it should have happened. Like, I know they're going to do a rematch
Mm-hmm.
and probably give Roman and the Usos another person, probably Sammy, for War Games, but what's the point of having it at Crown Jewel, too?
Right.
I think Jay gave in to way too soon because, I mean, this is a guy, Roman, that literally manipulated and gaslit Jay Uso for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So for him to just come back and now Jimmy, who also literally went against his own brother.
Right.
For Jay to just forgive them and join them immediately, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's too quick. And to your point, he literally at SummerSlam, Jay was seconds away from beating him and becoming Universal Champ. So I do think that bridge has been mended a bit too easy. But yeah, I don't see the point in this match. I think you could hold it. And I think that's the great thing about a lot of like faction matchups. You know, when we had, I don't know if you've seen that reel of the TikTok, but it was like flashback to when the Wyatt family and the Shield met for the first time, and they were like both getting on the ring slowly. they came up to each other, but like Roman and Bray both held all their guys back, and they built so much suspense that when that match finally happened, it was so epic. And so I feel like they could have had an element like that in this, but they're cashing in too quickly.
They should have kept building up for War Games. This is way too soon. I think, obviously, the match is still going to cook, and I'm watch it, but it's too soon. I'm not invested in it.
Right. I feel that.
Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed. This should be a good match.
It should.
Seth trying to get his get back for being randomly attacked and injured by Bronson. I think he gonna win.
Dang near violated.
Literally. Like, why he do 30 tsunamis?
Right.
Bro?
Come on, bro.
It's not that deep. So yeah, I think Seth's gonna win that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean Seth. Like you say, you got a lot to build towards him in WrestleMania. Hopefully, him and CM Punk can't afford a loss at this stage of the road to WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that should be a fun match. Two good styles. I would have liked to see that be a stipulation match. Adds like a cage to it. TLC. Not TLC, but Extreme Rules, whatever. I think they could have had a lot of fun, especially with the styles that they bring to wrestling. But nonetheless, I'm still excited for it.
Randy Orton and KO. That's gonna cook.
That is for sure.
That's probably gonna be my. It's probably gonna be my favorite match of the night.
Mm-hmm.
But the next match we about to talk about could very well take over. But yeah, Randy's probably my favorite wrestler ever.
I respect that.
And I love KO too.
Right.
I've always loved Kevin Owens' gimmick because it's really never changed
Right.
from the Indies to NXT to the
Mhm.
main card. And I love how Owens is just like, he's back to that. I'm just angry at the world.
Yeah.
I'm fighting whoever, whenever. And I think this is the match that's really going to start that arc of Randy being so slimy again.
Yeah.
I think we about to get that back with this match,
Mhm.
with this feud. And then that'll lead down to Cody
Yes, sir.
versus Randy
Yes,
at
sir.
WrestleMania 41. I need that. I need that match.
We are here for that.
But I also see they got to give Randy and John Cena one more match, bro.
Yeah.
They have to.
I feel you.
It's not going to be at Royal Rumble because they'll probably actually both be in it unless Randy's fighting Kevin or Cody or whatever. But John Cena's going to be in the Rumble.
Right.
But let them fight at SummerSlam.
You're right.
Let that be John Cena's farewell match.
There's no one better to give him his exit to the game.
I would say the only one close would be CM Punk.
Right.
I do want to see them fight one more time.
Yeah.
But that one, I'm more lenient on. I feel like I have to see Randy and John Cena in
Exactly.
2025. I have to. But how'd you feel about that match?
Oh snap! I'm not locked in.
Because I was about to move on, but I realized I didn't even let you talk.
No, you cool, bro. I'm tweaking. I would say I'm going Randy. Like you said, I think the character work between the two of them is what's going to make that match so great. And you're going to see them expose layers in themselves, and I'm really excited to see that. From a technical aspect, I think with Randy being who he is as a wrestler now, it'll be a slower paced match, and that'll bring out the storytelling. It'll be a lot of fun. And yeah, I want to see. I said it before, I will say it again. I think no one in the company deserves to have Ric Flair's record and beat it more than Randy Orton. He stuck around through good times, bad times, put over lesser known talent, stayed through changes in administration, style, switched shows, was in tag teams. Everything you asked of him, he did it and did it well. So I think he deserves that record. But I would love to see him and Cena lock up. But I think him taking the belt off of Cody is appealing. I think that would be pretty cool. So
We'll be seated for that.
yeah, absolutely.
But this is a match I'm actually pretty excited for. This match is going to cook. LA Knight, Andrade, and Carmelo Hayes.
Yep.
Triple threat for the championship.
Mm-hmm.
Cook. Because every single Carmelo and Andrade
It's
matches.
5-star.
And then you throw in an LA Knight, who he was a special guest ref
Right.
on Raw or SmackDown, one of the last few episodes, and that cooked.
Right.
So this triple threat could very well be the highlight of the PLE.
For sure.
But I can see LA Knight retaining,
Yeah.
to be honest.
I think Knight retains. But, man, it's been so cool for me to see Andrade come back because I became a fan of him quickly because kind of when I was getting back into WWE, him and Rey Mysterio were having the same thing that he's doing with Carmelo Hayes now. They had, like, this best-of-7 series, and every SmackDown they were just going at it. And those matches were phenomenal, and that just made me, I think, a lifelong fan of him. Then he left for AEW. To see him back now and cooking again, it's awesome. I think he is one of the best performers on the roster. Dude is amazing. Carmelo Hayes is amazing as well. And then I think you have the personality that match is missing in LA Knight. And he's going to bring the storytelling. So to see the mix of the three of them, I'm excited. I'm going to go with that as match of the night as well.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see the three of them go.
And then finally, we got the Women's Tag Team Championship Fatal 4-Way. Got Bianca and Jade versus Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. The Metaphor, Lash Legend, and Jakara Jackson in the Damage Control. I think this match will plant the seed of Bianca versus Jade.
Yeah.
I think, because they'll lose it. I think they're going to lose it. And then that'll cause the divide between them.
Right.
Whether it's we lost because of you or whatever, or just they just start beefing for whatever reason. But I feel like this is going to finally give us heel Jade in WWE, which is what fans have been waiting to see. Because that's really what she is. She's a heel.
She is.
And Bianca is one of the best faces in the WWE, men's or women's. So that's what I'm most excited about this tag match. Obviously, they don't have to do it this pay-per-view. They could do it Survivor Series, or they could even do it Royal Rumble.
Right.
But we got to have Bianca versus Jade at WrestleMania, too.
Yeah.
We have to. I feel like Damage Control is probably going to take it back unless they give it to Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson, which I would also like to see.
Right. I was just going to say, yeah, brother, it's time to give it up. You know, I don't want to see them as a tag team. I think they do great work together, but we all want to see them wrestle one-on-one. Exactly. So much talent, so much personality between those two. And yeah, whether this plants the seed or it is the moment, that's what my big takeaway is. That's exactly what I'm looking for. I want to see something pop off between the two of them. That is the most must-see matchup in WWE right now.
Yeah. Got to see that. But appreciate y'all tuning in, man. As always, keep looking at our content on social media.
Yep.
We got something going up, if not every day,
Right.
every other day. And always keep up with what we're doing personally in our careers, because we shouted out Coach G Money earlier. He's, part of the coaching staff for Ball State football. Shout out Do Studios.
You have to, bro.
One of the best cameramen in the state, in the country, in the world.
Pro level.
What?
That's a professional at work. Tune in, man.
He's working with Pacers Sports Entertainment Group this season,
Yes,
so
sir.
that's a huge shout out. Shout out my boy Colin Hatfield Show,
Yes,
making
sir.
some of the best basketball content on social media. And then I got articles coming out all the
Yes,
time,
sir.
man. I'm
Heaters.
gonna get back to the social media content though. I
Yeah.
know people
I'm
been
saying,
waiting
as
on
a
that.
fan, I'm waiting, bro.
I know people been waiting on that, so I'm gonna get back to it, especially because NBA's back.
Yes, sir.
And my favorite sport in the world, college basketball, comes back
Yup.
next week. Shout out Indiana Hoosiers, man. They won that exhibition against Tennessee.
Yep.
It wasn't a comfortable win, but shouldn't have been. Tennessee is a good team.
Exactly.
And it was at Tennessee. Also, shout out Ball State men's basketball. They start again on Tuesday at Georgia State. I'm covering the team again this year, so make sure y'all follow me for updates on Ball State men's basketball and on the Pacers too, because I also cover the Pacers. So
Yes, sir.
appreciate y'all tuning in as always, man.